Hello everybody, my name is Lynn Ismael and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to attempt to propagate a plant that is well loved by hummingbirds, can tolerate shade, and can be grown in containers. It's the fuchsia plant. I always misspell this plant, but it is spelled as Fuchsia. Now I bought one container as a hanging planter in the summer of 2022. And after that season, I brought it indoors as a houseplant. Through its time with me, I've almost killed it 3 times. One outdoors, it was hot, dry summer, and then 2 times indoors when I neglected watering them while I was busy outside. But a couple of months ago, I added a couple of fertilizer spikes from Job's, and from there, they turned out to be the healthiest they've ever been, which made me wonder, can I propagate these? I would like to propagate fuchsia because I can see it growing in the shaded area inside my fence garden. They're not rabbit resistant, so they have to be protected. I do love its structure, its trailing, and the leaves are shiny and green, and of course the flowers too, fuchsia and purple. Since they've been originally sold as a container plant, I was thinking I could propagate a few and use more of those in the containers I'll be planting in the summer of this year. I just have to make sure that I don't let the soil in those containers dry because they do like moist soil. And so I'll have to do some experiments on what's best method, ensure that moisture in that soil remains consistent without having irrigation. So that would be another video for next time. The trailing habit of fuchsia makes me wonder as well if it can be used as a foliage for arrangements. At this point, it looks kind of fragile for now, so maybe not for hand bouquet, but for floral arrangements as centerpieces, it has potential. So I want to propagate this so I can have more plants to see what I can do with this particular plant, the fuchsia. Before I get my cuttings, I want to prepare my growing media first. I'm going to be using a terracotta pot. Terracotta pots are porous, which means it can easily allow oxygen from the atmosphere into the soil and into the roots that needs the oxygen to grow. With it being porous, it can absorb water, so that can act as the reservoir when the rooted cuttings can access the water if needed. Not necessarily for outdoors because of the porous nature of it, they can dry out easily. For my growing media, I will need potting soil, perlite, and vermiculite. Perlite to add more drainage, because the more drainage, the more readily air can get in and provide oxygen for the roots, and vermiculite to keep the soil moist and also to provide drainage. First thing I did was to put the soil in some water just to let the terracotta pot absorb water. Then I added the soil and then the perlite, and then I mixed them together until I get a gritty consistency. And once I'm happy with it, I still see that there's still some excess water. So that's when I added the vermiculite to absorb that excess water. And I just kept adding until that excess water has been absorbed. So now for the cuttings. When you're taking cuttings, you need at least 2 sets of leaf nodes to form a cutting, softwood cutting. Just cut below a pair of leaf nodes, and you want to do that because that's where the growth hormones in the plants are concentrated. So the bottom leaf nodes, take those leaves out because that's where the roots will grow out of. And then the top nodes is where the new foliage will grow. If you have a terminal axis, take it out because you want the cutting to concentrate on forming roots instead of growing up. And if you have rooting hormone available, you can use it as well. I didn't have anything on hand, so I'm just going to be sticking these cuttings into the soil as it is. Now, I recommend using some type of a pen as a dibber just to create a planting hole for the cuttings, because you don't want to damage the cutting you've just taken from the plant by poking it into the soil. So to prevent it from happening, just dig some holes and then put the cuttings inside the holes. Apparently, cuttings root easily if they're placed close to the pot's walls. So that's what I'm doing here. And then once I'm happy with how I've arranged the cuttings, I put a little bit of water to ensure that there's no big air pockets around the cutting stems. After that, I grab just a regular cellophane, cover it with plastic, not opaque, but something that can let light through, just so you can reduce the transpiration and prevent or slow the plant from wilting before it can produce its own roots. And then place them away from direct sunlight until you see signs of growth. Hopefully in a few weeks, I can show you if this experiment succeeded or not. But if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, please do. It just helps other people find my content. I try to show up here on YouTube every Thursday. And so until I see you again, bye for now.